This is the MXtoday Podcast here on MotoOnline.com. I am Alex Gobert, joining me, Nick Still. And this week, Nick, we're going to look ahead. It's playoffs time. 3 events. The SuperMotocross World Championship goes down to the wire. It's going to be a good one.
Thanks, Alex. All roads lead to Las Vegas, and we're going to kick it off this weekend. We've got through 17 rounds of Supercross. We've ticked off motocross. It's playoff time, and someone's going to win themselves $1 million. Can't wait.
Yeah, it's definitely it all starts this weekend at zMAX Dragway there in Concord, North Carolina, obviously in the Charlotte region. That's where it's going to begin, Nick, and it's almost become when you think back to the opening 2 years of SMX, this place has become, I won't say the home, but it has become the place to open the postseason.
It really has been. It's a case of those. It's almost like the four strip dragways across the US is really been the case of Super Motocross. We got to see the once-off there in Los Angeles at the Coliseum, which I was hoping that was going to continue to be a home for some time, Alex. But hey, and then we finish it off Las Vegas like we did last year, and it really, it gives you that roll the dice Las Vegas feel, right? Everyone goes to Vegas for the last weekend of the year. I'm happy with that. But hey, the dragways and how they design these tracks across it, it's pretty awesome.
And what's new for this year, the Dome at America's Center, playoff number 2, St. Louis, that is going to debut in the postseason. A really unique setup that they're going to have there. So taking SMX indoors as well for the first time. So, as you said, between what we've seen over these first 2 years now leading into the third, I think it's become evident, Nick, that each and every year, the importance, I feel like everything to do with this particular series is making more sense.
It really does. And, we've seen in the last couple of years, it's really pushed an urgency for riders to almost return back to racing early through motocross if there's injuries. And it's really, I'm not going to say that motocross, it almost got to the point where motocross is like, okay, that's over, but it almost builds throughout motocross and we really finish with a grand slam, so to speak. And we get to see things like Chase Sexton, who pro motocross for him didn't go so well. We get to see him have what we think to be his last outing there with Red Bull KTM, and it really gives a lot more worth to a lot of these riders throughout motocross, and to finish the year on a high. I was one of the biggest advocates for Monster Energy Cup, and if we've lost that, it still means we get to finish on a high like this, and it really sets it.
No. We're not
what do you mean? The Monster Million, we're in Vegas. Roll the dice, baby. That's what this is.
The big difference now when I think of SMX, Nick, this means more than a paycheck. That to me is there's a championship on the line. I think the other thing with SMX is you can consider the playoffs, you consider the Las Vegas final, but it is much more than that. It's more than a 3-round series. As you said, we've built to this from round 1 of Monster Energy Supercross there at Anaheim. You get through Supercross, those 17 rounds, and it's almost like, okay, we look forward to the outdoors. You get towards the mid to the end of the outdoors. You look forward to the Supercross coming around again. But now we have this in between, a little bit of in some ways, it gives you that energy back. And at the same time, that they're all racing for something. These championships, they mean something. We've only seen 2 winners so far in Hayden Deegan in 250 SMX, Jet Lawrence in 450 SMX. But I think between those guys, outside of the money, It's this is history being made, the early stages. And I think each and every year, the more this proves that it's going to stick around, the more worth there will be for those number one plates as well.
You are absolutely correct, and it's the simple things as well where, potentially motocross didn't go well for you, and you have a final 3 chances for the year to really seal your deal or seal what you can do to show your worth to teams, to manufacturers, to really, probably get that across the line. So I look to that as well. The same thing with Pierce Brown last year at Las Vegas. That was a standout moment. That was a standout ride for him. So more of that. I like that, but hey, you'll never, ever, ever take Monster Energy Cup away from me.
I just did.
No, you didn't. Let's ask the guys. Let's ask Jet Lawrence. Be like, are you happy with that $1 million there, or does the trophy, or does that number one plate that's been on your bike for many, many years, that $1 million, that's what pulls them back.
It's I think when you look at this first race in North Carolina, the afternoon race, SMX, Nick, goes beyond just race day. So obviously they've got the build up, they've got the track side activities, the experiences, all the rest. We all it's familiar to everybody now who's been to one of these events, who has paid attention. All of that is set in stone. It's a Friday, Saturday experience, not a traditional press day as such, but practice sessions on day one, into obviously the main show on Saturdays. So it's really difficult when you consider the riders who are in following pro motocross and the outdoors versus who's been out in recent weeks or months, and to sort of see that, to see them hit the track for the first time, to see who's seeded, to see the wild card races, there's almost that sense of unknown even at this point of the year.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that adds to the excitement, right? That's what we all look for. That's why we all go racing each weekend, and to see those storylines play out. And the same thing is, I guess we get that excitement of, say, for Jorge Prado, is this the last time we see him on a Monster Energy Kawasaki? For Sexton, you know what I mean? That's the exciting part of it, because it sort of, I don't know, it lessens that off season almost as well. But going back to how you were saying about the events throughout the weekend, it's even after bikes are off track, they've usually got stuff going on the pits, there's activations. It almost feels like a mini festival, is the way it comes across, because there's always something going along all weekend. That's the feel I really like. It's it turns it into a weekend thing.
The press conferences are there for public consumption. The SMX Insiders podcast, they will do that mashup type thing, go live with that, and yeah, just throughout the weekend, just something special and super unique to the sport. Is there anything you don't? I'm going to put you on the spot. Is there anything you don't like about SMX as it stands?
I don't like day races. And that's, traditionally what we see at the first couple. I don't like day races. I just don't think it's, something that's there for it. And at the end of the day, I'm really excited to see how this round goes out when we bring SMX indoors. There is a part of the track that goes sort of out, I think it is, into the convention center or something like that. So maybe more of that. Is Las Vegas Motor Speedway the perfect ideal for it? I'm not too sure. But I'm only thinking that because what we have it to go back on is in the Los Angeles Coliseum. And at that point, I feel like we're a little spoiled. So I don't know. Maybe the dragways, the drag strips aren't the ideal situation for it. And I think that's why we're getting to see it head indoors and possibly different scenarios moving forward. But that's probably the only thing I can sort of think of. And then obviously it's day races as well.
Yeah, it's definitely unique. The infrastructure that Feld Motorsports has to bring in to a couple of things. So we experienced it in Vegas last year. The Dragway typically, even the 4-lane ones, it's not designed obviously to host any form of dirt bike competition. So in some sections, you have the seating, you can see the track, but by design, they kind of want you as the fan to experience the bikes at speed, to line up on the fence, to kind of take in the action that way. And then obviously, there's the camping aspect. Where does the track go near that? Kind of bringing that outdoor vibe to an extent to these events. So because remember, at the end of the day, it is a collaboration between Feld, between MX Sports, Supercross, Pro Motocross, to what we're arriving at when it comes to this. The other thing I have.
Let me ask you real quickly. Let me ask you real quickly is, do you think they have that, have they got 50% moto to Supercross? Like, have they got that combination correct? Do you want to see more of one? Do you want to see more of the other? How do you think they've done at bringing the two disciplines together in the one spot?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think typically on a one-off event, I think it's very difficult to get that balance correct. I think the objective or the goal has to be, if you're going to do it over the course of 3 different events. I didn't mind, when you think back to the middle round over the years, it's almost been a little bit more motocross-esque. When you think of this year going to St. Louis, you would imagine it would almost be more of a Supercross vibe. But again, as you said, they're going outside of the main floor, the main kind of what we typically see for Supercross. So I still think it has more of a Supercross vibe, but I think it needs it. I would be happy, Nick, 70-30.
With Supercross, 70-30, like leaning towards Supercross? Yeah, I'd agree.
Yep.
I think when we all go to Supercross, you're selling an entertainment, you're selling a show. And that's what I mean with day races. You can't capture that, so to speak. And, the fireworks, the planes and all that, like the pyro, like you can't get that with a day show. And that's something we've seen at Salt Lake City now for the finale for many years. So I'd agree. If there was one thing I'd lean towards is I want to see more of that Supercross side, but bringing in the motocross aspect. And I think last year at Las Vegas, they did a good job of that. They got the mix of the two, but it's obviously trying to capture that in an area where fans can see it as they would inside a stadium.
Yeah, and I think it's important as well, when you do attend these races, don't go in expecting Monster Energy Supercross, because it is very different and by design as well. So it's with all intentions to be a different product. And I thought it was interesting this year. They've changed that kind of the LCQ wording to wildcard races. I think that is kind of cool, more fitting. Obviously, we'll go through it more in a minute, but the top 20 seeded riders from the regular season automatically get into the motos here in SMX. Beyond that, the final 2 positions on the gate, you have to go through that wild card race each and every weekend as well, Nick. So it's not a matter of if you make it in at zMAX, you're going to be there for the rest of the season. You need to do it time and time again. And again, I think it just adds to the event. It's a storyline.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's, a case of, okay, if you qualify at the first playoff, that doesn't grant you in across all 3. It adds to the story, it adds to the excitement, and potentially adds to some of the craziness as well. And that's what we all want. That's what the fans are there for, and the importance of it as well. So, I really like that wild card-esque vibe about it this year.
Yeah, and the other thing is when you think about the seeded riders and the top 20, if a couple bump out, Aaron Plessinger, for example, it doesn't mean that the others automatically get bumped in. It just means more riders will be accepted, Nick, via the wild card races. So that's also important to note. Aaron Plessinger, Jason Anderson, Colt Nichols, to name a few. What that means is there'll probably be around 5 positions, a few extra spots for the wildcard races. So, yeah, I think that's important to note because not everybody is across it. Some just assume that, okay, AP didn't turn up. Who is the 21st seed? That puts them in. But that's it's not the case.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, it adds to that excitement. What's the one race we all love to watch on the weekends is that LCQ. Usually creates the most craziest racing.
Well,
and there's a little bit more money on the line this time. So I like the LCQ. It draws a lot. So and it adds to the excitement. So and there's a lot more money on the line. That's probably going to be one of the classes to watch.
Well, that's the thing as well. When you think of, you mentioned it at the top, just how lucrative SMX is. What it basically is, it's in exchange, it's instead of manufacturer bonuses. So the organizers are paying the $1 million in the 450 class, 500 grand in the 250 class for the winner of these of this series. Beyond that, though, when you get to, you look at the list, 10th position in the 450 class, $75,000. Go beyond that, 15th, still over $30,000. It's it's pretty impressive in itself. Individual race payouts, Nick, 100 grand for the win, in line with manufacturer bonuses for the most part. 50 grand for second, 25 for third. Beyond that, all the way through the top 10, they're making over 3,500, even if you get 10th. So not just about the trophy in the end, as you alluded to. It's a lucrative series. And whether you're Jet Lawrence or Hayden Deegan, or whether you're somebody, within position 10 to 20, it matters. It counts. This type of money is the best opportunity those riders in that position of the sport have probably ever had.
Yeah, absolutely. And for a lot of these, riders that do make it into the races for the night, it gives them the option that a lot of this money potentially is what sees them through for the remainder of the year leading into Monster Energy Supercross next year. There is probably a lot of importance, a lot of these privateers paying off credit card debts, things like that, to make this happen. So obviously, I think there is a lot of importance in that money, and that's what pulls these riders back. Like, it's easy to have that injury in pro motocross and sit out the rest of the year, but when you can make this money, you're rushing back. You're doing what you do to get back on that bike. So when you see the announcements like like AP and stuff like that, I think that almost certifies the importance of what's going on with him and stuff like that. So it's I'd like to be in the position of Jet Lawrence these next 3 weeks.
We'll move on to the seeded riders. We'll get into this. I wanted to start with Justin Cooper, just solid all year round, Supercross, motocross. As a result of that, he's ended up being the number 1 seed for the Premier class. What do you think that means? It's not the biggest advantage in the world coming in, a few points in it. But as we saw last year, the Lawrence brothers tied when it come to the SMX series. So every point realistically counts.
Absolutely. Every single point counts. And when you talk about the money that's on the line in those cases, for him, that's major. But it really shows, and Justin Cooper is the perfect example of this, of the consistency throughout the year and those good results put him in this scenario. So it really shows if we got to Angel Stadium at the beginning of the year and I said to you, Justin Cooper was going to be the number one draft pick leading into the playoffs, how many people would have bought into that? Not many.
Only 450
to be able to see that.
Only top 450 guy, Nick, to race every round in 2025 so far.
That's incredible. The only rider in the 450 class that's done that. That's incredible. That shows how long this year is as well. I'm not going to say too much there, but that just shows how long it is.
Yeah, he ended up third in the 450 SX standings, fourth outdoors, and as a result, the number one seed going in. So the way they seed it, practically you go in, the points reset, Nick. You go in with Justin Cooper will go in with a 25 points to his tally. Jet Lawrence still ended up working his way back to P2, Nick. Just clicking across to that. P2, he'll go in with 22. So only 3 points the difference between those guys. And if there's anybody you don't want within 3 points of you, it's probably Jet Lawrence. But so he's in a prime position. He's going for 3 straight. We saw Jet Lawrence go out of Supercross early on there in Glendale. Obviously made it back, kind of that miraculous return, not just to fitness, but to form for the outdoors. He won Fox Raceway. The rest is history. Went on to clinch the championship with a round to spare there in Pro Motocross. But he has to be the favorite naturally going in. But I think what this 3-round series does is almost creates opportunity for your Chase Sextons, your Cooper Webbs, particularly Sexton, and I think even maybe Eli Tomac, Hunter Lawrence.
Hunter Lawrence is where I lean at.
All in.
Yeah, I really do lean. I really do lean on Hunter Lawrence. I think it's really been a progression of him. The last couple of months, it's just got better and better and better for him. And when you have it in a point system like this, as we go on and gain more points, you can't afford to have a bad moto. You can't afford to have a bad moment. And then the same thing, like you said, Chase Sexton, he's got absolutely everything to gain and nothing to lose. Same as Eli Tomac on that point. Like, a lot of these guys have something to gain and not lose. So as for the favorite, you really got to sign with Jet Lawrence there, but I don't think it's going to be as easy as it might have been in the past for him, just from what we've been seeing.
Yeah, we'll list the top 5 first. Justin Cooper, Jet Lawrence, Malcolm Stewart, Cooper Webb, your 450 SX champion, and Hunter Lawrence. So that's the first 5. We mentioned Sexton there. When his outdoor title defense literally got turned upside down at Fox Raceway, it just seemed like all attention shifted to this SuperMotocross World Championship, to the postseason. He wants to finish off this year with a title. As you said at the top, will this be the end of his time at Red Bull KTM? Most likely, all but confirmed. He's coming in motivated. He missed the final portion of the outdoors. What we're going to get this weekend, time will tell. But those points though, Nick, when you consider towards the end of the outdoors and what he may have given up, he was within 6 or 7 points of Malcolm Stewart in third. He's given up a little bit there, and that can come back to haunt you later on.
Yeah, absolutely. It comes down to that every point scenario. But yeah, when I think back to last year and that moment of tying on points with Jet and Jet and Hunter, like after everything all throughout the year, to finish like that, I think it really shows that the point structure works. It really emphasizes the importance of it, and I think that's the most important part. So, yeah, I think we both agree with Jet obviously being the favorite.
The big thing is single points, double points, triple points throughout this postseason makes a big difference. The idea, Nick, is to give it a winner takes all scenario in Las Vegas, which I'm sure you're pleased with. But I think history tells that's going to happen.
Yeah, that's right, but that's what we want. To see, imagine like a winner take all between the top three, top four, like the different scenarios you can play out with it. It's exciting. It really is, and it's down to, like, if we break it down even further, some of these riders like Hayden Deegan can be better on that type of material. They can be better on that type of dirt. They like that hard pack stuff. It's been baking out in the sun all day. It's slick. Like, that can really benefit them at the end of the season when we get to those triple points, that they're on a track like that. That's the importance of it, and that's what I think we seen last year with Pierce Brown.
Yeah, and we spoke about earlier what's the split between Supercross and motocross? One thing that is very much relatable to the outdoors, the two moto format that we see in SMX, unique. It's not a triple crown. It's not the traditional main event. So that's unique in itself, lends itself at least structurally to being more in line with the outdoors. And again, just another little spanner in the works to potentially mix things up that little bit more. I think when I think back to last year, you could tell what was learned in 2023. They applied it to 24. And obviously beyond that, they're going to do so more again this time around. For 25, if they're ever going to be ready for SMX and what it means for the series, for the riders, whether it's bike setup, whether it's strategically, whatever they're learning or whatever they've learned in the past, they're going to apply it from this weekend. So I'm kind of fascinated to see, especially out of these title contenders, who can get that early momentum, who can learn from what they've kind of achieved in the past, and what are they going to bring straight up.
I think there's two things I can 100% guarantee you right now. It's the first time they're on track, we're going to hear two words. One of them is suspension, and the second one is probably scoop tire. So regardless, I think we're always still going to have that. But yeah, that was something that was a pretty big thing last year, right? Was getting that bike set up. Were you going to go on motocross or a stiffer motocross or a softer suspension setup? And we've seen that throughout the day. But like anything, data tracking, we've got to see that now. So I think a lot of these guys are going to come out with the same, setup that they ended on last year, and potentially maybe something different. And that's what I like about, SMX is obviously those two disciplines, motocross and supercross. It is a hybrid setup for any bike. So gotta like that.
It wasn't that long ago when you think back to Salt Lake City. We were there. The Supercross finals, Cooper Webb became a 3-time series champion. When you consider SMX and the postseason, it doesn't necessarily feel like Cooper Webb has been in contention as such. Not the Supercross guy anyway, not to that extent. Where do you see him coming in, and how does this mean anything to him? Does this kind of, I guess, enable him to come in with momentum? Is he looking to salvage anything from his year? Or is he still simply saying, box ticked. I won the big one, which is, like it or not, 450 SX is still the championship to win. I'm kind of curious to see where Coop's at when the gates drop this weekend and into the next two races as well.
I think when we look at Cooper Webb, he's a gamer. He's a gamer, and I think there is so much in the mental game that when we last raced, I won. When we were last in Las Vegas, I won. I think that's what he takes. I think when something's on the line like this, Cooper Webb is a gamer. He's going to come out. He will do what he needs to do. He'll be gritty. He'll do what he needs to. And then the same thing for Chase Sexton is what I just said before, really, is there's nothing to lose. There is everything to gain. There's something to win, especially for that team there as well. So what better way to exit a team or start off somewhere else new with, carrying another championship. But for Coop, he's a gamer. As soon as the lights come on, so does him.
Yeah, it's a good point. I think, and as soon as it kind of clicks, he's coming off of that knee injury that, that ended his outdoor campaign early during the Redbud qualifying session, tweaked his knee, been in to get that fixed and all the rest of it. But I'm just interested to see what kind of Cooper Webb we're going to bring in. And on a totally different note, his teammate there at Monster Energy Yamaha Star Racing, Eli Tomac, we've seen the ups. We've seen plenty of downs. I don't really know what to expect from him once again. But as I was saying earlier, I think with this 3-event schedule, the 2-moto format, it's almost gives guys like Eli that opportunity to lift, to center their focus. And if you execute just 3 nights of this, or 3 afternoons, 3 nights of this SMX postseason, a big number 1 plate, a big check is waiting for you there in Vegas. So I think that counts, and Eli will be one to benefit from that, I'm sure.
Same as last year, right? In the second race there, Eli Tomac's leading. The laps are getting away, but we're seeing that Jet Lawrence chase him down over and over again. And me personally, it was disappointing to watch. We want to see Eli get it done, but for you, it's ramping up. It's exactly what he did, and that really benefits him and that 2-moto format. The biggest thing with Eli Tomac is starts. Maybe one time it's good, bad it's not. When you have that across both times, you get 2 motos in the day. I think that's really beneficial for the number 3.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's I'm just another one. Again, like I said at the top, so many questions. There is the chance, Nick, though, that the Lawrence brother battle does take charge. Jet Lawrence, Hunter Lawrence, they just went 1-2 in the outdoors. Do they establish themselves and stamp the authority? You already said you think it's going to be more difficult for Jet this time around. But is Hunter the guy that's going to, once again, provide the biggest challenge of all? I think we're almost underestimating still what Hunter is capable of and the credentials he's quickly built over these past couple of years. Yeah,
I agree. I think it's probably the one we're sleeping on the most, and it's more so even the progression they've had with that 450 post Supercross. Motocross, it's got significantly better. He's got those wins. He's got the overalls there as well. It's really trended in the right direction for him, and I think it's just. I think all it takes for him is to get one of these starts over Jet, and things get really, really interesting. And then we get that famous age-old question: is will you take your brother out for $1 million? Like maybe that's what it comes down to. We didn't get to see the fireworks, unfortunately, in Las Vegas last year, but I think we're all hoping we get to see it this.
Yeah, and I think from Hunter's standpoint, outside of the disappointments of Supercross, all year long, I think he would have been kind of monitoring, okay, where are we at in the seeded positions? Nobody knows better than Hunter Lawrence just how much it counts. So he's going to go in fifth, tied on points there with Cooper Webb. A point off of Stewart in terms of the regular season tally. But yeah, he'll go in P5. As I said, we went through the top five. Beyond that, it's Sexton in sixth. Tomac will be P7. AP Nick, he's been ruled out, still ongoing illness concerns and just not back to 100% health. So attention has been turned to 2026 for him. A real shame there because he, I think, as well, has been someone who can prove, or he's shown in the past, he has what it takes to run up front in SMX. Beyond that, Nick, the top 10 is Justin Barsha and RJ Hampshire going in. So Hampshire built his way up pretty quickly over the course of the outdoors.
That's another name there, right? That I think if there's a solid result, I'm not shocked. Motocross went really, really well for RJ Hampshire. We've seen how Supercross ended for him, but it's almost like Supercross style suits RJ, and I think that'll work better on a 450. So when you throw the two together, RJ Hampshire might be a force to be reckoned with as well. That's another name that I think a lot of these people might be sleeping on, is RJ.
It's funny when you look at him as well. He scraped in still. Sorry, from his 250 Supercross achievements. So 20th in the seed there. Obviously, he's full-time 450 now, but maybe the only one that did make it across both in the end. But yeah, I'm really interested to see just how RJ kind of adapts, how he, I guess, transitions to the stadium type environment. Very good, Nick, outdoors. Very good. We'll give him 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10 for RJ Hampshire.
Why not? Yeah. Why not?
Yeah, okay.
Along.
No dramas. Yeah.
Yeah.
Moving on. Very similar to Eli Tomac, you'd imagine, right?
Yeah. But I mean, so again, I'm just really interested to see, is he a top 5 threat? I feel
think
bad
so,
because we kind of bounced straight past Mookie in P3. So again, I don't feel like Malcolm's outdoor season was as good as last year.
Career year in Supercross, though.
Supercross was great. Yep. He, I think in general, another one, Nick, I hate to repeat myself, but the short burst of energy, what this series provides, the opportunity, that's the big one. So I want to point out a couple of guys within the top 20. Ken Roxham, we saw him come back for Unadilla, that one-off appearance outdoors. As a result, Nick, he is 11th overall. Jorge Prado, as you mentioned, P13 in the end. So that's
question.
Yep.
Do we see Jorge Prado make it to Las Vegas?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Why not? He made Budds Creek, sort of.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think we see Jorge Prado finish the season with Monster Energy Kawasaki.
Well, he's not doing MXON because of the contractual complications issues. So I watched this space there, but
George Prado.
Yeah, I hope that we see him just try his best. Wherever that lands, who knows? Yep. We're not outdoors anymore, so he doesn't have a direct comparison of, oh, my old bike used to do this, or it should be doing that. This is kind of all new for him. He seemed relatively comfortable in Supercross, at least at the start of the year, that short amount of time that we saw him. So, I think you'll know pretty quickly where he's at. When they hit the track on Friday, we'll know.
Yeah, and I don't think we've got any changes from Pro Motocross. I think we could be in a worse situation. If this was the case of panic button, the panic button's been brought out, it's hit, it's in the draw. Things are not going well for Mr. Prado there.
Well, couple of guys, Nick, who are in Justin Hill, Mitchell Harrison. They're your P19, P20 guys. Cody Schock, just outside of that. I haven't checked, Nick. Is he riding? I do have an email from Club. I'm going to pull it up right here. But trying to think back if Cody's riding a 450.
You would assume it would be a 450. I don't know. Got good results on the 250 in Supercross, and then moved over to the 450 for outdoors. So, yeah, I don't know. They might put him into the 250 class there in the wildcard situation.
Just reading this. Some Mike Bonacci gold, Nick.
Yep. Fantastic.
Yeah,
Sure
because so Schock rode the 250 obviously in Supercross, went
Correct.
to the 450 outdoors. Great radio, Nick.
Yeah, this is exactly what we're looking for. I'll just be thinking.
I don't feel like they've confirmed. I don't feel like they've. I may be wrong.
Watch this space. See who we get on track on Friday.
No. Here we go. He's 450. 450.
Okay.
I feel
Big
like
450
that's like
guy.
a bit of chat GPT, that writing. That can't be him.
Surely Club MX wouldn't use chat PT.
Mike B delivers greatness every week.
Anyway. If he sees you with a camera, he will track you down.
Yes, if he sees you walking by the transporter, good chance you're going in. Beyond that, Nick, Harry Kulas, Mitchell Oldenburg, Benny Bloss. A who's who in this positions 21 through 30. Your man, Christian Craig, P29. He won't be there. Quadlock Honda.
Quadlock Honda?
Yeah.
Yep.
He has made the move, requested the release from Star Racing Yamaha. So we're going to see Christian in World Supercross, which will be interesting to see, alongside Joey Savacci, Nick, who will be in SMX, the 14th seed. So, that's...
How about his teammate there of Shane McElrath? Will he be attending? Is he in that listing? Sugar Shane?
Yeah, he's in there. Yeah. So he...
So, I don't know.
Another one to...
Why would we send the team? We've got Christian a bike. Why would Christian not line up?
Too soon. No. Too soon. Has he even ridden it, Nick? Oh, so are you breaking news?
No, I'm not. I'm just saying. The
Okay.
bike's there. The bike's built. The team's going. The truck's going. Let's get some more money out of Reeve. Let's get him in there. I
think for Christian, preparation, building into World Supercross, and start off on the right foot, get that momentum back. So time will tell. Let's talk 250s, Nick. Let's talk
Diggs.
Time's ticking. It's ticking fast. There's a lot. I feel like I'm even more excited now than what I was an hour ago. Hayden Deegan leads.
That's the Deegan effect. Yeah. You're more excited now.
No. We haven't even got into the Deeg yet, but dominated, Nick. Supercross champion, Pro Motocross champion once again. Had his hands full with Joe Shimoda, who will come in as the second seed. Does that rivalry escalate in SMX? Or are we, Nick, I hate to say this, is SMX the danger zone?
I think we see it escalate, right? He's been very, very vocal of potentially some of the actions in Supercross from Joe and other riders. I think we see it escalate. Once again, a lot of money on the line. Deegan knows what he wants to do, and he'll happily do it. I think we see some fireworks, and I don't know, maybe from some of the other riders as well.
I feel like SMX is kind of, you think back to the Coliseum and Hayden's first championship in that environment. And I think if this does mean a bunch to anybody, I feel like it's Deegs. I feel like he's built for SMX. This is the big show. It just really seems to suit him. And again, you look forward to he's going to be on the 450 next year. So this is his chance to go 3 in a row to remain unbeaten, Nick, in his 250 SMX career in terms of championships.
Yeah, it's history to be made, right? And we know that announcement he will go to a 450. So this will be the last time we see him in Super Motocross in that 250 class. To do it 3 in a row, there's probably a little extra spice on it for him as well. And he's just another one of these, just the dog in the fight, right? Every time he's on the track, he wants to win. So anyone gets in his way, I think we'll see. I think we'll see what he's got to do it. So, but once again, I think you really emphasized this series is built for him. This is where he excels. But hey, there's been a lot of these riders that have really caught fire, like Joe Shimoda during the summer.
Yeah, it is. And when I think after Supercross combined, Joe was around 7th. So he elevated himself across those 11 rounds of the outdoors through the summer. He built his way into 2nd, and you think back to Anaheim 1 and how strong he was to start the year. Outside of that finger injury, the form has been evident all along. And the big thing is, Nick, with Joe, we don't know his future yet. We assume he's going to stay with Honda in an extension, but the confidence that's on his side, that belief, I think that too is, potentially what's going to be the difference for not only SMX coming up, but next year as well.
Yeah, it's just been a case of getting the progression going, and it's one thing we've seen in the past is Joe is a little slow to start the season, but really, really finishes strong. So I think this is going to be another case of that, and just just having those.
We got no time for that, Nick. We got no time.
What do you mean? You got no time for that? Why?
We got to come in. We got to come out all guns blazing, sir. Straight in.
That does. Yeah, well, that hasn't worked so far for him, has it?
It beyond Shimoda, Nick, we're Garrett Marchbanks. He's been renewed at Pro Circuit and Kawasaki for next year. What a season he's had. That performance of his outdoors to achieve what he did, to put himself in this position for SMX, really, really well deserved, and top of the Cowie guys at a point where his teammates around him were probably more highly rated.
Yeah, I'd agree with the more highly rated, and the same thing for him in pro motocross. Absolutely unbelievable, and I think it was almost like that whole return to him with Monster Energy Pro Circuit was something that probably caught a lot of people off guard, but it's really gone the right way for him, and secured his seat there and hopefully secured a seat maybe into the 450 class in the future as well. So for Garrett Marchbanks, that's unreal.
It's no, I think for him it's definitely a really trending in the right direction. Tom Vial, he's fourth. Seth Hamaker is fifth. So obviously, we saw what he managed to achieve in Supercross and taking that championship down to the wire. But in terms of Vial, Nick, the 250 SX East champion, outdoors didn't go so well for Tom, but hopefully they can sort of turn things around in time for when we get to Charlotte this weekend, get back comfortable, first of all, with the bike, and then we'll see what he can do because, again, by all indications, this could be his very final few appearances in the US, highly linked to MXGP next year with Honda and HRC. So, I think for Tom Vial, whether that adds to his motivation or it's just a matter of getting through it, time will tell. And then Hamaker as well. He's going to want to finish off strong, as is Levi Kitchen directly behind him in P6.
The biggest question with that Red Bull KTM is obviously the bike hasn't gone well for Vial throughout motocross. So I think you're right. Did they fix this in that time, or is it just going to be tick the box? But for Vial, like you said, very likely this is the last time we're going to see him and his outings in the United States. So probably got nothing to lose, but I think we're going to work that out very quickly when we see the bikes hit the track on Friday. That's for sure.
And again, you look at Hamaker, you look at Kitchen, all guys who have been knocking on the door for success. Kitchen, he finished off the outdoors strong in the end, found some stuff for the bike, so he's going to want to look to continue that momentum in. Julian Beaumaire, we have, by all indications, he's going to be back after that hit that he had at Budds Creek. Max Volan, P8, Jordan Smith, Nick, P9, and Michael Moserman, he is P10 at this point. So in terms of the riders out, though, Nick, we're not going to see Chance Hymas, we're not going to see Mikael Harrop, and we're not going to see Moserman or obviously RJ Hampshire. So a few riders out that have made it, which again, they should take around 6 riders out of the wildcard race rather than just the 2.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's for Moserman, do we have an update with Moserman regarding how he is really since that crash?
Not a lot, just obviously still out. He won't make it back. Be interesting to see if he is back with that team for next year. Last I heard, probably, possibly, probably. Again, time will tell. But beyond that, again, these positions between 11 through 20, Nick, to name off a few, Nate Thrasher, Austin Faulkner, Ryder D, Drew Adams, who we saw real glimpses of promise from. The most intriguing one, Nick, would be Cole Davies. We saw him back, terrific at the end of the outdoor season. 17th, Nick, in terms of the seeded position. Can he contend from there, or is it too much of a deficit?
I don't think you can ever count that out when we go to single, double, and then triple throughout the points. We can expect him to be a great start, to be up the front. I think he might be another one of these to watch, but yes, like you said, the points are there, are quite low. There's so many of these other riders with the question marks, like Julian Beaumaire and how he goes there after that crash he had. So many different riders, it really is, and that's the curveball, really. It really is the same as Jordan Smith.
Expecting Smith, by the way, to potentially lead Triumph's 450 program next year. So nothing official, but that would be interesting to see. Lux Turner, Nick, 21st seed. He ended up just finishing 11 points outside of RJ Hampshire. So so close, yet so far.
Yeah, very much so for Lux. And the same as, can you run through the top 5, the top 6 of those wildcard seats?
Here it is. Turner, Master
Yep.
Pool, Cullen Park, Cody Shock, who we now know, Nick, is on a 450, Jalik Swole, Avery Long. I'll get to some of the bigger names. Daxton Bennick, 27th. Max Anstey, 30th. Is he back?
Surely, like that injury was pretty early into that season. That's been one we haven't really not heard much about. And that whole, that whole adventure for him with Star really has not gone well. So I think he's definitely going to be one of the riders you'd expect to see, but it's been pretty quiet, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's gone well at times. When it's gone well, it's gone well. But there's been just a lot of time on the sidelines for Max. So, yeah, he broke his leg in that Birmingham, and hasn't raced since. Back riding, I assume he's in this weekend. But, yeah, we'll see, Nick. Is there anything else beyond that you look forward to when the gates drop? Because I don't know about you. I mean, I've been looking forward to SMX, I think, since Redbud.
Yeah, I'm probably a little early there. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like motocross sort of didn't have the vibe it usually has. Yeah, you know that. So yeah, I don't know. It's seeing the storylines, the way it develops when the gates drop. So, like I said, in the 450 class, Jet Lawrence, does he walk away with it? Throw in Hunter Lawrence, RJ Hampshire, Tomac, Sexton, and then the 250 class. Does Diggs just do what Diggs does, or are we going to see fireworks? I'm going to Las Vegas for fireworks, and if I don't get fireworks, I'm going to be disappointed.
No, I think I won't guarantee it, Nick, but I am pretty positive these things are going to go down to the wire. That's the purpose of SMX. And I don't know about you, but the way I feel in 2025 versus 2023, I feel like it's all, as I said at the top, it's making a lot more sense where the series and the underlying benefits. We did that podcast with Sean Brennan from Feld Motorsports, just seeing the riders kind of surface midway through the season into the outdoors, seeing that kind of thing happen, seeing that added emphasis, that value placed upon those that do go and battle the heat all summer long. They get the reward. And now, Nick, through September, that's the point where they're going to, get the greatest benefit of all. So I'm going to go there. How are we feeling about the 31 races? Before we sign off, how are we feeling?
I think when you look at it, and one of the stats you hit me with earlier was Justin Cooper was the only rider out of the 450 class to race every one. I think that is a red flag. I think that's a red flag. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's probably a whole different way you can mix this together. But the fact that in our 450 class we've only had one rider complete every race, that says there's something there that needs to be changed.
I think the balance as well. What would be interesting is where do you scrape the events from? Does Supercross go shorter?
Yeah, it's so hard. Yeah.
Yeah, because again, when you speak about the injury toll, I think Supercross, in some ways, there's obviously that kind of added element of danger just through the focus it takes, the concentration, and then doing 17 rounds back to back. But then outdoors, the fatigue, the all of the work and the difficult moments and everything else, if it goes wrong, that's where it really sets in. That's where you find yourself in trouble in terms of health. So
It's the same thing throughout the week.
One.
It's the same thing throughout the week, right? There's so much more riding to stay fit, to stay in your bubble, to do testing throughout a whole year. I think there's different changes that can be made, but I agree that's probably, if we're looking analytically, Supercross is probably where we see those injuries. So yeah, I don't know. Hopefully we can find the perfect scenario, right?
I think the other thing, if you consider MotoGP or those types of series, they don't really get the opportunity to ride like our guys in SMX do. So you can probably count the amount of 2-day tests, 3-day tests that they do over the course of the year. Test riders come into play, and the test teams obviously behind the scenes. But maybe that's something to consider. Maybe the problem isn't the 31 rounds. Maybe the issue is, okay, let's put some sort of testing restriction on midweek. Very difficult to police, obviously, but it's not impossible.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. There's so many different ways and things we can, make changes. And I think that's something we're going to see into the future. Cutting races here and there, that's not the answer. There's probably a few different things to look at, but it's something the guys and the riders are definitely pretty vocal about. So see what we're going to get. But Alex, the gates are going to drop this weekend, and I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, you and me both. Thank you, Nick. As always, appreciate it. On YouTube this time as well, Nick. So
on YouTube.
Yeah. Special edition there. So
it's good to see you, Alex. It's good to see
you. Real good to see you. As always, be across MotoOnline.com for the latest, Nick. I know you'll be on there at MotoOnline on socials. Thank you. Appreciate it. Everybody listening as well. We really appreciate that. We'll see you on the next one.